Hey, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're going to crack the code on what is, let's be honest, one of the scariest parts of the GCSE English exam, creative writing. We're going to break down exactly how you can snag every single one of those marks.
Okay, first things first. Why are we so focused on this? Well, it all comes down to this number, 40. That's how many marks are up for grabs. That is a massive chunk of your final grade. So yeah, getting this right, it's absolutely crucial.
So, picture this. You're at the final hurdle. It's question 5 on paper 1. You've battled through the reading section, and this is the last thing standing between you and the finish line. So the big question is, how do you actually get all those marks? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out together.
So let's get specific. Question 5 is your creative writing task. You'll get a choice between two prompts, usually a description based on an image or a story based on a title. And get this one question is worth half the marks for the entire paper. Yeah, you heard that right, 50%. No pressure at all, right? But hey, don't sweat it. There is a really clear path to success here. Okay, so here's the thing. The mark scheme, it's not some top secret document. It's more like a code. And if you want to crack it, you just need 2 keys. We're talking about something called assessment objectives, or AOs, specifically AO5 and AO6. Once you get these, you'll know exactly what the examiner is looking for.
So let's break them down. The way I like to think about it is like this. AO5 is all about the story and the structure. You know, the big picture stuff, your ideas, your imagination, how you piece it all together. And then you've got AO6. That's the polish and the precision. This is all the fine-tuning, your word choices, your sentences, spelling, punctuation. Now, both are super important, but here's a little secret. They are not weighted equally.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at how those marks are split. AO5, that's your content and organization, is worth a whopping 24 marks. And AO6, your technical accuracy, is worth 16. So what does that tell us? It's a huge clue. It means a brilliant, well-structured idea is actually valued more than just having perfect spelling and grammar. The big takeaway here? Nail your story first.
All right, let's zoom in on AO5 for a second. The official jargon talks about communicating imaginatively and organizing effectively. But honestly, the most important part is right at the end there, to engage the reader. See, your job isn't just to write a story. It's to make that examiner feel something. You've got to create an experience that just pulls them right in. Okay, and what about AO6? This is all about your technical skill. But notice, it's not just about being accurate. That little phrase, for effect, is everything. Like, are you using a short, punchy sentence to ramp up the tension? Are you picking a really specific, sophisticated word to create a certain mood? That's the stuff that gets you the top marks here. Okay, so we've got our keys, AO5 and AO6. Now let's actually map out the journey to that top grade. The whole mark scheme is broken down into 4 levels. Let's take a look at what it takes to climb that ladder, all the way from the bottom to the very top. So, these are the 4 levels the examiner is working with. Down at level 1, your writing is simple and limited. I mean, it tells a story, but that's kind of it. Then you climb up to some success, and then clear and consistent. But where we're aiming, where the top grades live, is all the way up at level 4, compelling and convincing. This is writing that doesn't just tell a story, it makes a real impact. So what does that climb actually look like? I mean, in a real piece of writing. Let's just take organization, for example. At level 1, you've maybe got a few paragraphs, but they're kind of random. At level 2, you're starting to try and link your ideas together. By level 3, your paragraphs are coherent, they make sense. But level 4, whoa. Now you're using varied and effective structural features. We're talking about things like flashbacks or switching perspectives or using pacing to totally control how the reader feels. You see the jump?
And really, this is what it all boils down to. These are the exam board's own words for level 4, convincing and compelling. What that means is you've created a world so vivid, so real, that the reader has no choice but to believe in it. That's our target.
All right, that's enough for the theory. We know what level 4 looks like. The question is, how do we actually get there? So let's open up the Master's Toolkit and look at the specific practical things you need to do. First up, let's talk AO5 content. First, ambitious vocabulary. And listen, this is not about swallowing a thesaurus. It's about using the perfect word. So instead of saying the tree was big, you might say the ancient oak loomed over the path. Second, craft your linguistic devices consciously. Don't just chuck in a metaphor for the sake of it. Use it to reveal something deeper. And finally, make sure your tone and style are a perfect match for the task. I mean, a horror story should feel totally different from a love story, right?
Next up, your AO5 Organization Toolkit. We've already talked about using varied structural features, so think about starting right in the middle of the action. We're using a tiny one-sentence paragraph for a huge impact. Next, develop complex ideas. So instead of just a story about a haunted house, maybe it's a story about a character who is haunted by a memory. And of course, all of this has to be built on a foundation of coherent paragraphs, where every single one pushes the story forward.
And last but not least, the AO6 Accuracy Toolkit. Want a wide range of punctuation? Try using a semicolon to link two ideas that are super close. Want to vary your sentence forms for effect? Easy. Follow a long, rambling, descriptive sentence with a short, sharp, punchy one. Instant drama. And spelling? You know, the best tool for this is simple. Just leave yourself a few minutes at the end to proofread. Seriously, these little things can make a huge difference.
So there you have it. We've looked at the challenge, we've found the keys to the code, we've mapped out the path to the top, and we have filled our toolkit with everything you're going to need. Your quest is clear.
You know what the examiners are looking for. You know how they mark. You now understand the difference between a good answer and a truly great one. You have the code. All that's left now is that blank page waiting for you. You've got the tools, you've got the code. So the only question left is, what story will you tell?